What's up, peeps? Nick Battle, aka Nino's Corner, man. It's been a while. It's been a while. It's been a while. Some good news, some bad news. Bad news is, of course, we lost the game. And look, my son's on the thing. He just wants to say hi. Say hi.
What's up?
Oh,
It's Nino Corners Jr.
get out of here. All right, go play your video game. He wanted to say what's up to everybody. Bye. All right. Great game. Not really. It was the Arch Manning show for the first time in his career, man. What a crazy, crazy game. A lot of expectation built up, folks. Kind of 6 months in the waiting to see what he was going to do in his first game. It wasn't exactly what we thought we were going to see here at the University of Texas for his first start. A lot of things really unpacking this game. Texas, let's be honest, they rushed the ball extremely well. 37 rushes to the tune of 166 yards. To Ohio State's 34 rushes to 77 yards. Texas passed the ball not too well, but they passed for more yards than Ohio State as well. Just a funny, crazy game here about Texas. I was not really expecting this. How's my sound, folks? How's the sound? Can you guys hear me? You guys good? Good. Um, yeah, crazy game, man. Crazy game. I was expecting a lot more, from the Arch Manning showcase. But let's go ahead and let's start off with the defense first, man. Defense played lights out. Defense played very, very good. Only giving up 14 points in the horseshoe, to the Buckeyes. I thought was truly, honestly just extraordinary. Coverage was pretty well to it. I'm also run defense was really good. Pass defense was good too as well. I mean, the defense did their part. Just to be honest with you, not bad at the defense at all. The defense played extremely well. The offense, honestly, for the most part, did what they should have done, I think, in the second half. But in the first half, it was just very, very iffy. The Sark offense, honestly, just today it was kind of lackluster. Honestly, I am so used to seeing Sark kind of take plays, take some chances down the field. He didn't really do that a lot today, which was very kind of alarming. With Quinn last year, we didn't do the deep ball, well. Arch has like the huge arm, and so I was expecting for us to somehow, um, just kind of go deep a little bit more. Arch didn't. It was very interesting to see that this game plan was very vanilla, and I was not expecting that. But kudos, man, to the defense for Ohio State, man. They played their butts off. A hell of a game from them too as well. One thing that I think Texas has to figure out, man, and this is for Sark over his first 5 years here in the program, is how do we score in the red zone, right? How do we score in the red zone? This was something that I wasn't, thinking that I was going to have to talk about here in his fifth year here on campus, but how do we score here in the red zone? And it's something that is lackluster here for the program. But Texas has to kind of figure that out. This is something that I am still kind of just wondering, how do we get that? How do we figure that out? So Texas definitely has to figure that out. We haven't done it yet. I know, but hopefully soon. Hold on, folks. Let me see something. Seems like my microphone is not working well. But it seems like, all right, guys. Can you hear me out there? If you guys can hear me, I'll type a note. Can you hear me? Guys, can you hear me out there? All right. Let's keep it a buck. Arch can hit the broadside of a barn. All right, yes, Dustin. That was okay. Perfect comment. So we were down 14-7, right? And we had an opportunity to go up on, I think it was a 3rd and 4. Arch has Wingo streaking right across, right in front of him with nothing but room to freaking run. And he throws the ball behind Wingo. If he puts it in front of him, Wingo's probably still running right now. The only person that Wingo had to beat, I think, was Caleb Downs in that play. So Caleb Downs, I think, was going to the right hash. He sees Wingo come across, and he shifts back over to the left hash to actually go with Wingo, but the ball was clearly behind Wingo. He had to try to make some kind of catch on it, had one hand on the ball behind his back, and he was not able to catch the ball. Totally understand it was a horrible pass. If Arch just had to settle down. I'm not giving any excuses for Arch though, man. This team, this fan base, let's just keep it honest. This fan base gave Quinn a lot of hell last year. Arch is no different. He's going to get some of this too, man. But Texas has to figure out a way how to score in the red zone. You hold Ohio State to 14 points in their home. Texas has to figure out a way. How do you score 15 points, 16 points to win the game, 17 points to win the game? How do you score one more point? How do you score one more point? Penalties kind of killed us too. It helped Ohio State there to get their first score. This is a game that I was not anticipating here. However, there are things that we can glean, upon to kind of see exactly how this team did. Like I said before, defense played well. Offense definitely has a lot to actually get better at. Running game was good though. I was very surprised by the running game. Just for the simple fact that Texas didn't have their complete offensive line kind of figured out yet. Was it Neto? Was it Connor Stroh? And we didn't find out that Connor Stroh was going to be the one who was starting the game until like a day or two prior. Connor Stroh, man, I had him on the channel here when he first committed to Texas years ago. Good kid, good family. He played pretty well today too, man. So gotta love it. But the running game was very, very good today, averaging about 4.5 yards per carry. So I'm not mad at the running game. Man, look, Trey Wisner is just one of those guys, man, that you root for. You got to root for. He played extremely well today. Pads were very low today. Great balance from Trey too as well. CJ Baxter, having him come back from that knee injury, just seeing how he kind of ran and did his thing. Arch actually ran pretty good. One thing that Arch needs to do, I think, on that, we had a 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 4 in the red zone too as well. Arch had the opportunity to kind of tuck it and run. He kind of stayed in the pocket, I think, a little bit too long. Tried to make that pass, missed out on it. I think it went to the feet of DeAndre Moore, and then that's when he made the pass to Parker Livingstone in the end zone, and it went right through his hands, and we had a turnover and downs on 4th down. But look, we got a phone call from Wade, and let's see what Wade's going to say. Wade, can you hear me, man? Wade, you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me, Nino?
We got Wade on here, and he's not talking. So, Wade, I'm going to get you out the scene if you're going to talk, man.
Hey, Nino, can you hear me?
All right, we're going to take him out from the scene. All right, so Dustin says, I kind of felt like this was coming. I was not one of the people calling for Arch last year when Quinn wasn't perfect. I knew Arch was young and needed to grow. Baptism by fire. The only problem I have with this is Arch has been in the program here now. This is his 3rd year, and the rumors were out that Arch had the playbook when he was in, high school as well. So he's very familiar with this offense. It just seems like this offense, it didn't move well, and so. We'll see what happens, man. But hold on, we got Wade back on. Let's see what Wade says. Wade, you there, man?
Hey, man, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, man, we hear you, man.
Yeah, so I'm from Arkansas. It was rough watching it today from Arkansas, man. It was rough.
Yeah.
But what is your thoughts on Arch today? I personally think he didn't he struggled obviously during most of the game, but I think as he kind of got going a little bit, especially in the fourth quarter, he kind of started getting the feel of it, and he kind of started getting some confidence. I just think, me personally, from what me and my dad could see, I think the environment was kind of getting to him a little bit, just because I don't think he's ever really handled it as a starter, and it's all kind of new to him. And I just think that once he kind of gets in the rhythm, the next few games, it's really going to help him out a lot. But like, what do you think overall about him? Because I feel like some people are overreacting right now, calling him like the next Garrett Gilbert and stuff like
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean, man?
Yeah. Yeah, man. So, Arch, I think he kind of settled down in the second half. He did. But there were still plays to be made. He missed some throws. He had some wide open throws.
Yeah.
Just like that Wingo throw. It's like settle down, make the perfect throw. Everything doesn't have to be a dart. I think that's what Arch's problem is too now. Is you're seeing everything that he comes out is high velocity. Just boom, boom,
Right.
boom, boom, boom. You know, sometimes touch is good, which is one thing that we got on Quinn about last year because Quinn had too much touch, right? And sometimes you want
Yeah.
a little bit of dart in there, but it's got to be a fine balance, right? It's got to be a fine balance. And so I think that's where Arch probably needs to, you know, just kind of fine tune his skills there. Got to find the balance, man. But he had some open throws he just missed, and you know maybe it was nervousness, but he's been in the program now for look, man, this is his third year,
Yeah.
so he's had the playbook, he's had time to sit down, he's had time to look at the playbook and look at the team and have his team. This is his team, so look, he'll grow from it. He'll grow from it, and we'll see what he does. But he had wide open plays, man. He just didn't make them today. But
Yeah.
one thing I think Arch needs to do, Arch can run. He has
Yes, he
good,
can.
he has good wheels. And like I said, in that third and fourth play, we're in the red zone. He had an opportunity, I think, to tuck it and run and either get a first down or a touchdown. And he stayed in the pocket. And I think he threw it to Moore, and it hit Moore's feet.
Yeah.
And after that, it went to 4th and 4, and he threw the ball to Parker Livingstone in the end zone, and Parker dropped the ball, right? You got to take those small wins. Take those runs. You're a big body kid. Take those runs. And if you do that, you're going to get some confidence on the next drives and the next plays to where those are the plays that can get you kind of, just hyped up, right? So you got to
Yeah.
figure it out, man. But, Arch would be fine. I know we're all kind of freaking out over it because this is the 6 month, expectation of him, right?
Oh yeah.
So, we've been building up for this after we got beat last year, by the same team. So it is what it is. We got 3 games that we should, win pretty easily, and then we got Florida. And so,
Yeah.
true test is going to be against Florida and Lagway. So,
My only other question for you is I've seen some guys make comments today that Sark should probably think about getting an actual offensive coordinator. What do you think? Because I mean, I feel like he's done a good enough job up to this point, besides the red zone, and I think red zone he really has to fix it up, man. Because
yeah,
I really
Red,
think that's been killing us the last couple of years.
man, not the last couple, the last 5. Um, yeah, man, I'm in a chat with some guys too, and we were talking about this too as well, man. Is the red zone issues is crazy. Just for the simple fact, Cal Flood has a lot of big humans, right? He does. He has a lot of big humans. But the problem is the minute that Bijan and Roshan and Brooks all kind of left the program, those guys were really great at making people miss at the first, like hint of being tackled. And we don't have any guys that are shifty like that in the backfield now. So now we're getting like no kidding downhill runners like Wisner and CJ Baxter. And so a downhill runner who's going to just no kidding just get behind the blocks and go doesn't have the opportunity to make those jump cuts like a Bijan. Like Bijan was special, right? He was just special.
Yeah.
Jonathan Brooks was special too. So now seeing a guy who's just a downhill runner, we got to make sure that we get some guys that can fit the gap schemes and just block. So Connor Stroh did pretty good today. Hudson's nasty player too when it comes to run blocking. Campbell is too, but something's wrong on the interior of that line where we cannot block, especially on the 4th and goal from the 1, or last year 1st and goal from the 1, right? And so, yeah, man, we got to figure it out. I don't know what the answer to that one is, but they got to figure it out, man.
Yeah, but hey, man, I gotta get off here. I appreciate you calling or let me call in. But
Yeah.
you have a good rest of your night, man.
All right, man. All right, man. Thanks for the call, bro.
All right, hook 'em.
Hook 'em. Yeah, man. Interesting game, man. Hey, but so Julian's saying, hey man, give him his props. He didn't have the best game when it came to stats, man. But I tell you what he did do. He was composed. He made the plays when he had to make them, and he didn't force anything. Even though the Texas defense did their thing, man. Look, Texas defense, you guys are amazing. I was on the phone call with some guys, today that played on the 05 championship team, and so we were talking, and he was just like, Texas defense did their thing. You know what I'm saying? Texas defense did their thing. The offense just kind of has to figure it out. However, we got an offensive genius, when it comes to a head coach. So maybe an OC is a welcome, change to the program. Maybe that's something that's needed. I don't know if it has to be a no kid OC, but it has to be somebody that I think Sark has to trust, man. Somebody that kind of has to pulse the game. Sark's an aggressive play caller, right? He is an aggressive guy. how do I want to say it? He's an aggressive play caller, but being aggressive doesn't always make it right. If that makes sense. Sometimes we're in the shoe against Ohio State. 3 points are better than none. Right? 3 points are better than none. I think we went for it on twice on fourth downs. And so let's say you get those 2 field goals, and now it is a 14-13 game with the opportunity for us to drive to get a field goal. It's a lot different game plan, right? So it's about down and distance, man, and just the different kind of plays that Texas can actually run in those situations. But look, man, I was looking at the outcome of the game, and sometimes Sark just needs to realize that points are, field goals on the road against a national championship team where your defense is balling out, only giving up 14 points. Field goals are good sometimes, right? It just is what it is. So yeah, take the points sometimes. Sark, we love you. We love you, man, but sometimes takes the points. I don't think those calls were the wrong call, but I think it's just the feel of the game. The feel of the game is your defense is doing their thing. Give them a little bit of confidence too, and allow that defense to understand that their stops that they're getting are not going unnoticed. They go totally unnoticed when no points come from a drive that follows it. All right, so Hookem from Arkansas goes. O-line actually did better than I expected today. Yeah, man, I was surprised. There was a couple plays. So go check out my boy Nash Talks Texas, man. He has a couple plays up there. We got some young guys starting. So Brandon Baker's pretty young. There's a player I think he just totally missed the defensive end. He blocked the nails tackle and didn't hit the end at all. End came over, kind of rushed Arch. Arch was pressured, had to step up. But I mean, those are teachable moments. So none of this game was completely horrible. These are all teachable moments here for the team. However, this team has to get better. I think this team could honestly, realistically lose one more game and make the playoffs. So like for the next 11 games, you got to be damn near flawless. All right. And so that's something that this team has to do. Hookem from Arkansas goes, also, did you see that Colt McCoy had a similar game stat in 2006? Like Archie today is crazy. Yeah. I don't like to do the comparisons. This is a lot different team, a whole lot different team. So Colt's a different animal. I think this is that season was Colt's first time like really, really getting some, some playing time. I think the previous season he didn't get much at all, if any. So Arch has been in the system, like I said, for 2.5 years. So it's something that he has to get better at, man. But we'll see. It's not doom and gloom. Even though from some of my previous texts and and stuff in my group chats, I might seem like it's doom and gloom, but it's not doom and gloom. Texas still has the opportunity to come out here and do great things, man. Funny thing, Arch started to get in his groove in the end of the game. The beautiful pass to Parker Livingstone touchdown pass. That was an awesome pass. Also, it was a good pass that Parker dropped to an end zone. I don't know if I would call it just a straight up drop, but it was a little far out, but I think he still had both hands on it. So, it was one of those ones that could have possibly went either way as a drop or just a pass that's a little bit too far. But those are two great passes. And that pass to Jack Andrews, man, on the left hash, where he threaded it between the safety and the cornerback. It's a perfectly thrown ball. That was an awesome ball. So, so he was starting to get in his bag at that point. But it was good to see him kind of settle down. I think we'll see just over the next 3 weeks. We got San Jose State, and we got UTEP, and then we got Sam Houston State, right? The opportunity for him to kind of get in his bag, man, get his confidence back, and then we go to Florida, all right? And so Florida's going to be the real test against Lagway. Lagway's a beast, man. Lagway's a beast. And so this Texas defense is going to have a good time, just trying to wrinkle him up. But look, I'm still very high on the team. I'm still very confident in the team. So I think Texas should be able to do great things here for the rest of the season. But we do got a tough schedule here. Another comment is a learning process for Arch, growing pains for him. Yeah, definitely. And honestly, the things that help us too is that the playoffs is a 12-game playoff now, so that does allow us to have the opportunity to lose a game or two and still make the playoffs and be dangerous. And also, so even though I know he has been here for a few years, yeah, exactly. So I did tell you guys I had some good news to tell you guys. So everybody knows that I am in the Air Force, and I just got word yesterday that I'm coming back home to Texas, man. So next summer 2026, we will be in San Antonio, Texas. So moving back to San Antonio, Texas, taking command out there. Yeah, I'm coming back home, y'all. I'm coming home. So, HEB, Whataburger, and Bucky's, man, I miss you guys coming all the way from Connecticut. So my son's laughing because he knows I love Whataburger. But yeah, man, coming home so you guys be able to see me at games a lot more often. And I am, just really excited. The house shopping process sucks. I went down there to house shop a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, I'm going to figure out where the hell I'm going to live here starting the summer of 2026, probably May time frame. But I'll be able to see a lot more games and you guys be able to see me out more. That's why it's been so crazy for me and not being on over the summer was, getting my promotion to colonel here in the Air Force and then also figuring out that I'm moving. So getting all that situated and trying to figure out schools and stuff for my son for next year and all that other good stuff, man. So soccer clubs for him. So it's been kind of crazy. It's been really crazy. So in saying all that, more recordings coming from me. Because now I know I'll be settled in and I know exactly where I'm going. San Antonio, Texas, Lackland Air Force Base. I'm coming in May of 2026. So you guys will see a whole lot more of me. But yeah, guys, look, Texas settled in that second half. Defense played well. The 2 touchdowns that, we gave up, man. I think Gilbert got beat on one route by Tate, but he did a great job of catching back up. The ball was underthrown. Gilbert does get his hand on the ball. However, when he does, Tate just makes an awesome catch, man. He just makes an awesome catch, and that's something that you just can't plan for, man. He made an awesome catch. He's a guy who's going to be playing on Sundays. He ate us up last year too. We bracketed Smith. Smith didn't have a good game last year. He didn't have a good game this year too. 6 catches for like 43 yards, and his longest catch was like 16 yards, right? So Texas did their thing against Smith. So I'm not mad at the defense. Defense had a great game. This is going to be one of the top defenses in the country again. Honestly, if we were able to do this against Ohio State, I think Texas has the opportunity to kind of bottle up anybody that they want to do in the country, man. Great stout standing here from the defensive line, especially from the interior side of the house. We didn't give up a lot of runs, man. We only gave up an average of about 2 yards a carry, 2.3 yards a carry. Awesome, man. Yeah, man. Thanks, Hookem from Arkansas. But yeah, Texas. Look, not all doom and gloom. We're gonna be fine, guys. We're gonna be fine. I know my friends in the group chat are probably saying you weren't saying that earlier, Nino. You were freaking out. Yes, I'm freaking out because I am a Texas fan, and I just want to see the team do very well. But other than Texas, let's talk about some other news, man. What happened to Alabama today? I'm so glad I didn't bet on no games today, man, because I could have swore Alabama was going to beat not Arkansas. I could have swore that they were going to beat Florida State. But the irony and all that, man, was, Bama fans, was it last year when Saban left? They had Mike Norvell. He was supposed to interview, and then you had Kalen DeBoer. You had all these names, pop up, and people were like, "We don't want Mike Norvell." And then Mike Norvell comes and beats Alabama with his Florida State team that went 2-10 last year. Isn't that crazy? But I was telling my friends today in the group chat about just having a no-kidding dual threat quarterback and just how important that is. Just in my opinion for college football, is when you have a dual threat quarterback, you have a quarterback who can put pressure on the defense. That is going to be great because once you saw the QB that was from Florida State, they knew he could run. So you had to commit somebody to him. And then once you commit somebody to him or try to spy him or try to blitz him, he would just go right over the top of you in that blitz, or you'd be scared from the run where you would try to commit to him and somebody's, kind of trailing out. I mean, they had the game plan extremely perfect. I think, I'm not saying Arch needs to do that, but Arch can run, guys. I think he had a speed of about 22 miles per hour, last year. Arch needs to be able to diagnose plays. And be able to run when he has to, man. Use your legs. Arch has the Superman power to run. A lot of players can't actually run like Arch, man. So use your legs, run when you need to, because he has the opportunity, and he has the ability to do that. So Antoine says it was good to see Nick Townsend and on the first drive. Yeah, man, it was. Antoine also says he's surprised at more running backs didn't see time, Gibson or Clark. I don't think they needed to. You had Wisner, who had a good game, 16 carries for 80 yards. Man, you had C.J. Baxter had a good game too, 10 carries for 40 yards. Those are going to be the workhorse guys. Christian Clark's going to definitely get his time. He's going to get his time. Everybody is raving about Christian Clark and just how good he is. And so I'm excited to see him, but everybody has to understand too that he is coming off a torn Achilles, right? And even though he is, healthy, that is an injury that you do not want to play with, especially in a big time game like this. You want to make sure that this guy's completely healthy, because he's going to be a staple, I think, in this offense for next year and the year after that, barring injury to somebody this year. But Christian Clark is one of those guys that ever since, he actually committed to Texas a couple years ago, everybody loved him. Everybody loved his size, his speed, just his ability to move. He has a little bit of Bijan in him. I'll never compare anybody to Bijan, just because Bijan's just a different kind of character. But Christian Clark has that kind of Superman instinct when it comes to his jump cut ability. His jump cut ability. He's good. He's good. Also Ty Anthony Smith, man, what a baller. Look, I want to talk about the youth movement here at Texas. Littleton had a really good game today. Ty Anthony Smith is going to be a baller. He's going to be one of those guys that's going to see a lot of time this year. And when Anthony Hill, actually goes to the league, it's going to be Ty Anthony's defense when it comes to manning the defense. I know Colin Simmons is still going to be on the team. It's going to be his defense as the star. But when you're talking about that linebacker that's going to control the entire defense, this is going to be Ty Anthony Smith's team next year, guys. And I think people are seeing a coming out party of him. We saw a lot of young players today. Who else we saw? We saw Littleton. We saw Ty Anthony Smith. We saw Jackson. He played today too. We saw McCutcheon. He played at wide receiver today. So we saw like four true freshmen, or who has come out and played. Well, actually, Smith is a sophomore, but we had some freshmen come out and do some great things today. Littleton's going to be a baller too. Him playing in that slot was pretty outstanding too as well. But the defense played extremely well. I think we're so stacked in the secondary. It's good to have guys like, man, Love Akina coming in. Man. He brings that fire. You see from the 05 team, you had the guys like the Huff Daddies, and you saw the Michael Griffins and the Terrell Browns, man, and the Aaron Rosses, man. You saw those guys, and now you're seeing how, Akina is trying to bring back DBU, and you're seeing how we almost had like a no-fly zone happening there with guys like Gilbo, and you had the Kobe Blacks, and you had the Michael Tafts and the Williams, Jelani McDonald. He's one of my favorite players too, as well. You're able to mismatch to where players like, Taft can play in the nickel. Players like McDonald, he can play also in the nickel too as well. Derek Williams, having him back has freed up a lot, because he can go out there and no kidding play the safety position and allow Taft and allow McDonald to kind of move around. So, man, look, I think we're gonna have a no-fly zone. Of course, there'd never be a true no-fly zone, but that's an opportunity for us to have a great defensive, backfield, to where all those guys are going to get drafted. Antoine says, "Congrats, no Simon to San Antonio. I just got selected for E8 and started my rear. Man, that's what's up, man. Congrats to you, big dog." Antoine also says, "Saw 5 DTs play." That's awesome. Because that means that our defensive line is going to stay fresh the entire season. I got to go back. I have to go back and look at this game. I haven't watched it back over. I'm gonna do my stats again. You guys know that. So stats will probably come out Monday. But the site is getting revamped. I had to not touch it for a while, because I was doing all this stuff for the military move and getting ready, and kids soccer and all that stuff, man. But yeah, it's season time, baby. We're back. Also, Antoine says Dwayne Akina is the godfather of DBs. Yes, he is, man. He has produced a lot of defensive backs here for the University of Texas, man. But guys, hey, let me know in the comments what you think, man. Players that you were impressed with, players that we're hoping to see just a tad bit more. One thing that I was shocked, we didn't have any sacks today. We had a lot of pressures, man, a whole lot of pressures, man. Um, One person, everybody knows, man, Colin Simmons. Colin Simmons put a lot of pressure on a lot of people today. I saw Alex January out there today. I saw Cole Brevard. I saw Canoe out there today. Who else was out there on the line? I saw was Shaw out there today? Shaw played today too as well. Brad Spence played on the end too as well. Colin Simmons. We said, we saw January. January's gonna be a star. He's gonna be a star. Ethan Burke is already. He's a dude. He is a dude, man. Was Vasic out there today? I saw Vasic a little bit. I did say Zena out there today too as well. I think Vasic was out there. Of course, we saw Littleton. I'm just kind of going through the stat sheet now, seeing everybody. Yeah, it is what it is. ZT Sports says, I just don't understand how Sark totally went away from our identity, RPOs, and screens. That's a good, honestly, that's a good question too, man. I think Sark's going to have to start to, I'm not going to just base this off of one game and change his identity. I'm not going to say that. But I think with the landscape of college football, one thing I would love to see Sark do, I would love to see Sark maybe get a dual threat quarterback. He's not that kind of guy to get a dual threat quarterback, but hear me out, guys. Hear me out. When you have a dual threat quarterback, it does put so much pressure on your defense. Nick Saban, the godfather of college football, probably the best football coach in college football history, has said that the hardest thing to defend in college football is the running quarterback. If you get a quarterback who can no kidding run the ball when needed and be a true dual threat, just not a functional quarterback, like a functional mobile quarterback. That is something that I'm not. I'm talking about a dual threat. I'm talking about, could you imagine Sark's offense with a Lamar Jackson, right? Sark's offense with a VY, right? So not only do you have to worry about the passing game, but you got to worry about somebody who can run the ball too as well, right? So look, I would love to see that. I would love to see that. I think Sark's offense, somebody who can pass the ball, but can also get down with the run when he has to. That's what Arch can do it. I think Arch is the closest thing to that, to a dual threat. He's very, a very physical runner. He has wheels. But I think Sark has to let him run the ball. And I know people are extremely scared about having him run the ball, just for the simple fact that they don't want him to get hurt. But I made a comment today in a group chat. I was like, look, man, Mac let Vince run, right? And he let Vince run in our championship year. If Vince gets hurt that championship year in game one, there's nobody on that roster that played quarterback that was going to do what Vince could do to get us to a championship that year. So you either have to you either have to let your guys play or not, right? Let them ball out. You know what I'm saying? Just let them ball out. If Arch is able to run the ball and do great things, let him do it. You can't save these guys. You can't allow these guys to not be able to use their Superman powers. That's what I call them, right? So 2005, if Vince is held back and told not to run when there's opportunities for him to take over a game and win, we don't win a championship. And if Vince gets hurt running the ball, guess what? We still don't get a championship. But you got to let these guys be the best version of themselves. And I think Arch is the best version of himself when he's able to run the ball, right? I don't have any stats on that, but I will back that up with some stats here. I got to definitely check that out. You know what I'm saying? This weekend. Antoine says, who's it? Kavion Bryant in 2027 is the QB that you're talking about, Nino. Hopefully so, man. I got to do my recruiting here pretty soon. Apparently there are rumors that Arches. I don't want to hear about. No, Kate. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying the injuries, Kate. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you why I'm not going to do this. All right. And maybe he is. I don't know. But I'm not going to do this because that shoulder didn't look injured. When he threw that dime to Vasic, not Vasic. When he threw that dime to Parker Livingstone in the end zone, in the end of the game, that shoulder did not look lit, hit or hurt when he threw that dime to Andrews, the tight end, in between the cornerback and the safety in the fourth quarter. That shoulder did not look injured. When Arch threw that ball to Parker Livingstone that was missed just in the corner of the end zone. Look, he missed throws. Like, so we can't give this guy. I shouldn't say this guy. We can't give Arch excuses when things don't go right for Arch. It just is what it is. Sometimes you got to play better. And this is a learning moment for him. Arch is going to do better, folks. He is going to do better. I think we all understand that. Sark is going to put him in the right situations to succeed. And so, yeah, this one's ZT Sports is saying Arch was missing guys the whole game. He wasn't seeing it out there, even with a clean pocket. Exactly. He was missing throws. I just think he was nervous, man. You got to think, man. This is probably the most hostile environment that he's had to start in his entire career, right? He played in a 2A school, down in New Orleans. And me being from Louisiana, I know about football in Louisiana. It's one of the most talent-rich states, even though it's small. But the development of players down in the state is not the best. Like I said, a 2A school. Yes, the stadiums were packed to see him play, but we're talking 2,000-3,000 people, 5,000 people at most. You're playing in Ohio State, 105 to 110,000 people are screaming like crazy. It's loud. It's the largest environment that he's been in where he has to be the guy for the entire game. And it's cool to come in against A&M and get you a good play in and get you a good run and get a first down. It's cool to play against Mississippi State at home, and it's also cool to go against ULM at home. But this is the first time that he's coming on the road. When he had to go against Georgia those couple times for a couple plays, he looked like a deer in the headlights there too as well. And this is it's a growing and a maturation process for Arch, but he's going to be fine. Arch is going to be fine, guys. He's going to be fine. Cape goes, he won't admit it, but he was definitely anxious. I mean, I could tell there were a lot of, yeah. And that's what we're talking about today too, man. He's a Manning. He's going to get a level of scrutiny. Especially he's been told by everybody that he's the best thing since sliced bread, and it's going to be better than both his uncles. And I think people need to pump the brakes, including myself, on that. Look, man, his uncles are Hall of Fame quarterbacks. All right. One is arguably top 2 or 3 greatest of all time. And if he had more championships, he'd be the greatest of all time. He's probably one of the best passers of the ball and the most, one of the smartest quarterbacks that we've ever seen in this league. And Peyton Manning, and Eli also has 2 championships too as well. And one of the grittiest guys who just never loses in big time moments, right? Both his uncles are in the Hall of Fame. So we need to pump the brakes that he is Peyton and Eli, but has the wheels of his grandfather. His grandfather was not shabby at all. If his grandfather played for any other team not named the Saints, and he put up his ability on a team like the Cowboys or somebody, he's a Hall of Famer, right? Archie Manning would be a Hall of Famer if he didn't play for the Saints. I'll say it, right? So we got to look and take a step back and look at Arch and say, it's still a development case. Any kid that comes from a 2A school, it's going to take some time to acclimate to the game. No matter if your last name's Manning, Smith, what have you. I'll give you a good example of a kid that came from a small school, Tyrone Swoops, right? Tyrone Swoops came from a very small school. Was it 1A or 2A in Texas? And it took him years to develop to be who he was eventually going to be in college football. Now, of course, we all know Tyrone Swoops ended up moving over to be a tight end in the NFL. However, when he was at Texas, when he started to get in his own groove, it took him about 3 years, man, because he had to learn the speed of the game at this level is completely different than what he was used to. I think he went to Brennan, right? It was completely different than the speed that he was used to in high school. All right. And so, of course, I'm not saying Tyrone Swoops is Arch Manning, but what I'm saying is that the level of competition that these two have been playing in their high school career is completely different than what they're seeing on a weekly basis here at the collegiate level, especially at the University of Texas, where you're going to get some of the best talent in the country every day, especially Arch, because he's really in a talent-rich era here at Texas. So here's something from ZT Sports. He goes, ZT Sports says it's hard to win in your first game, in your first road start, even with a guy who's been in the system, asks Bama. Yeah, man, Bama got killed today. Kansas State. I saw Kansas State was getting beat, man. Like, give me a second. Let me look at that score on Kansas State. Whoa, 20. Oh, no. I'm sorry. That's old. That's old. Kansas State. What they looking at? Versus North Dakota State. What's it looking like? 35-38. Come on, Kansas State. Oh, LSU. Oh, LSU and Clemson still 10-10. I got to get out here because my mom's visiting me from Austin, Texas. She's upstairs watching the LSU Clemson game because we are from Shreveport, Louisiana. So we're big LSU fans. If I wouldn't have went to Texas and I would have stayed in the great state of Louisiana, I would have probably went to LSU. Don't tell nobody that. But I came to the good side, baby. I went to UT. Yes, Swoops went 1-9 as a senior at White, right? Yeah, he did. So, weren't they playing low rank? Yeah, man. They're playing North Dakota State. Something like that. Yeah. North Dakota. University of North Dakota. Come on, Kansas State. Man. But all right, guys, I got to get off here because I want to watch the fourth quarter of this LSU Clemson game, man. Thanks you guys for tuning in. Again, probably tune in Monday, man. Monday, we're going to have the stats and everything, man. And so we'll talk stats. We'll talk everything. Here's little Nino. He's going to tell you bye. You going to say bye? No, I got to keep the headphones on. You can talk. Just say bye.
Bye. Have a nice night and root for Clemson.
Your grandma's going to kill you.
I mean LSU.
All right, there you go. All right, guys. I'll talk to you guys later. We will tune in Monday and we'll go over all the stats in the game and all that good stuff, man. But we're out. Horns up. Deuces. Hook them. Show them the horns, Landon. There you go. Hook them.